Lots of workbenches, lots of cables, all the electric cables. We're getting there with the electrics. We're sort of doing a first fix with a lot of it. Not quite sure how much cable there actually is on the boat though. Seems to be miles and miles of it. We've got the bimini there, the helmsman's bimini, that's all rigged up now over the top. So Dolphin Sails are going to begin making the cover for that. Interestingly, when Nick started to fit this stainless bimini top, there are lights built into it, and despite the fact that the boat had been underwater, he plugged the lights in and they came on. Amazingly, the lights worked. So it's just the aft deck. I mean, there's a lot of work been going on back here. We've still got our fiberglassing table. Hopefully that won't be here much longer, so we'll be able to get rid of that very soon. The switch panels and the helmsman panels are away being made at the moment. We've got new switches for all the winches, and interesting bit at the moment here where they fitted the engine because the matrix is more or less finished. I'll show you in a minute. When the matrix is all more or less finished, they've got the engine beds in and they wanted to dry fit the engine, but in order to get it in they've had to cut the hatch. So the hatch has actually been cut. There was a beam across here joining these 2 points, so that's been cut out. Easier to put back in again, but we had to do that. We took the canopy off the shelter, get a crane, lifted the engine, dropped it down through the hatch. We had to take the stairs out, which is a new temporary stairs we've put in, and then the engine swung down here with its gearbox on, came down. There's a second hole in the ceiling, I'll show you in a second. So if I swing around, there's another hole in the ceiling here, so another line comes through this hole so we can control the engine, and then that swings down to its engine beds. You can see the matrix looks quite different now. It's with the infills, and they're starting to cover it all up, ready for a floor to go on. You can see the engine bearings just there. So there's the holes where the keel bolts on. There are big plates that are going to those as backing plates. So the coupling for the shaft. So yes, the engine will fit in that first piece. One generator goes that side, one generator goes in this side, and then once they're in, we can then put the floor of the engine room on, and then put the floor for the saloon, and then start fitting the engine room out. And that's going to be a major point for the boat. So once the engine room is finished, then we can start connecting all the cables up, and then I imagine it's going to go quite quickly from there. So there's still some frames to put into here. So these frames are going to carry on down and marry in with the matrix, which is under there somewhere. The forward bulkhead has gone in forward into the saloon. There's an incredible amount of work. That bulkhead's new. This bulkhead's new. Then we'll wander off. You see all the cables hanging down from the ceiling. So there's an awful lot of electric cabling going on. It's been wired up a bit like a house, so there's power goes through to each cabin. There's 240 volt, 12 volt, 240 volt, 24 volt, and one 10 volt. So wherever we are in the world, we can run power. So it is a bit like Spaghetti Junction here. Now this cabin was a galley, so this has been completely transformed into a double cabin. Air conditioning unit's going to go under the bed for this cabin, and then there's a tank underneath. And in that dark hole there, I won't go in because it's quite dark in there, will be the shower and the toilet. So this is sort of a second guest cabin. Move through to the twin cabin, so across the corridor. We've got water tanks underneath here. So one bunk's in, there'll be a second bunk goes down this side. The third bunk, believe it or not, is a fold down bunk here. So this will sleep 3 people, if you needed it to. And then cupboards there, and then obviously we've got the shower behind the curtain. And then carry on aft, again, more cables hanging down everywhere. So we work our way back into the master cabin, which is coming along quite nicely. It's being fitted out, there's cupboards and bits and pieces going in. The beds are in, obviously the deck head's still to go in, but that'll go in a week or so's time. But they've been fitting out. It looks much nicer in light wood than the darker wood. Some ducting there for the air conditioning. Yeah, it's game here. New hydraulics, all new electrics already gone in. But yeah, every time I come up, it looks so much different to what it was the time before. But you can see the matrix here is much thicker, much stronger than the original. The original in places was only about 6mm thick. But you can see this is all solid fiberglass. There's no timber in the actual matrix itself. So it is solidly built right into the whole structure of the boat. So yeah, so in a few weeks' time, hopefully we'll get the keel on and it'll start taking shape.